In the far north of ancient England, where the forest pressed too close to the fields, there stood a small Saxon village called Hæðfeld. In winter, it looked less like a home and more like a wound in the snow, dark roofs hunched together beneath a colorless sky. Beyond the last fence post rose an ancient burial mound. The Barrow was older than the village church, older than memory, a great swelling of earth ringed with thorn bushes that never flowered. Frost clung to it even when other ground thawed. Children were forbidden from climbing it. Grown men would not stand in its shadow at dusk. The villagers said those buried inside had died angry. No one spoke of it further. Into this village came a young monk named Ælfric, sent by his abbot to record Hæðfeld's history and gather what remained of its pagan past. He believed that writing things down could banish superstition, that faith, properly spoken, could drive out darkness. The village reeve welcomed him with caution. "You may write of harvests and births," he warned, "but leave the Barrow be." Ælfric asked why. The reeve answered simply, "Because we have." Then winter deepened. The first sign was the livestock. A ewe was found dead beside the forest. No wounds, no blood, only eyes stretched wide in frozen terror. More animals followed, a cow, goats, each lifeless, each marked by the same unbearable expression, as though they had seen something they recognized and feared. Then came the whispers. At night, the village sealed itself tight. Fires burned low. The forest grew silent, and from beyond shuttered windows came voices, soft as breath, calling names. Not in Latin, not in the language of the church, but in Old English, the language of childhood and grief. Ælfric heard his own name whispered outside his cell. The voice was his mother's. She had been dead for years. "Open," it said gently. "I am cold." The tone was perfect, loving, familiar, and yet beneath it something felt hollow, as if the voice were shaped around an emptiness. Ælfric prayed until the whisper stopped. By morning, the frost outside lay untouched. Soon villagers began to disappear. A man named Oswine followed the voice of his dead sister into the fog. His footprints led straight to the Barrow and ended there. Others followed in the weeks after. Each heard someone beloved. Each went willingly into the night. None returned. Fear settled over Hæðfeld. People stopped speaking names after dark. At last, Ælfric sought out Leofrin, the oldest woman in the village. She told him the truth the others dared not speak. Long before Christianity came, a warlord had been betrayed and left dying. In his final moments, he bound himself to something ancient in the forest, a dark hunger older than men. He promised it memory, the warmth of living minds. In return, he gave him vengeance. His enemies were destroyed, but the pact denied him flesh. He was root-bound, stone-locked beneath the Barrow. He could not walk among the living, but he could remember, and he could wear what he stole. The spirit beneath the mound fed on memory, taking the shapes of fathers, mothers, sisters, using love as bait. Each victim gave it more voices, more gestures, more humanity to imitate. The Barrow was not a grave. It was a prison. On the coldest night of winter, Ælfric went to confront it. At the base of the mound stood a figure wearing his father's face. It spoke with his father's voice, told him it was proud. For a moment he believed. Then the face shifted. Behind the familiar features was no flesh, no bone, only absence, a hollow shaped like memory itself. Ælfric fell to his knees and prayed. The spirit did not rage. It reached toward him with longing, but the prayer thinned, and at last it folded back into the earth. The vanishing stopped with the coming of spring. The village survived. Leofrin died. The old knowledge died with her. Ælfric wrote everything in his chronicle. The pact, the prison, the hunger beneath the mound. His abbot burned the pages. "These are heathen fancies," he said. Years passed. The church was rebuilt in stone. Children played upon the lower slopes of the Barrow. Few remembered why they were once warned away at dusk. And sometimes in the deep of winter, when fog presses close and fires burn low, a voice is heard at a shudder. Soft, beloved, patient, calling a name it has worn before. The spirit cannot rise. Not yet. But faith fades. Memory weakens. And hunger is very patient.